In this video, I'm going to talk about depression, and I'm going to start by talking about a little bit about what depression is, and then I'm going to give you my 5 top tips for understanding and managing depression. So what is depression? Well, depression can be characterised as anyone that's in a low mood for 2 weeks or more, and also if that low mood will persistently return. Some of the feelings people experience when they have depression, it can vary. It can be around lack of self-worth, lack of motivation, anxiety. And someone might also have experienced physical manifestations of depression. So they might become ill quite often or more than they would regularly. Also, how do people behave when they're depressed? Well, again, this can vary, but sometimes people might struggle to get out of bed. They might struggle to do tasks. They might not want to interact with their friends or family. They might become withdrawn. And it's also important to note that depression can be on a spectrum. So although someone might not want to get out of bed for a whole day or for several days, someone also might be able to function okay and be at work, but just experience some feelings of negative, unhelpful emotions. My first tip is to talk about how you're feeling with someone, whether it be a family member, close friend, or even book an appointment with your GP. People often find that getting that first conversation with someone lifts a load and is the first step to seeking support and making the changes. Maybe a friend or a relative has turned around to you and said, "Are you okay?" Or is something happening in your life that you want to talk about? And that can quite often be the trigger for someone to say, actually, something's not right. So it's really important to talk about what's going on. So my next tip is exercise. And before you turn off this video, this can be a really important one. And by exercise, I don't just mean running a marathon. It can be a walk in the park. It can be going for a gentle swim. And it does one of 2 things, exercise. It helps you break the habit of not doing anything and being passive. And that can be really important with depression. Secondly, how exercise can help is to get the endorphins going. You know, them feel-good feelings and feel-good hormones racing around your body. So again, it helps to break those negative emotional cycles. So for this tip, I wanted to talk about mindfulness, and I use it a lot with clients when they come with anxiety and depression. And it can be a fantastic way of taking a step back from those unhelpful negative thoughts and behaviours and feelings. For example, if someone has a negative reoccurring thought that they're not good enough, mindfulness can allow that person to take that thought and see that thought for what it is, just a thought. And it's not something that will or should be controlling your life. It's not something that has power over you if you don't choose to give it power. Mindfulness can also help with uncomfortable feelings that someone might be experiencing. Sometimes feelings can be overwhelming for some people, and especially in terms of depression. So it enables you to kind of allow those feelings to be and to not put judgments on those feelings. My next tip is something not to do. Quite often I get people coming into my practice with symptoms of depression and even anxiety, and they have several different coping mechanisms, and one of the main ones I can find is the use of alcohol. Now, alcohol is a well-known depressant, so my tip now is to significantly reduce your alcohol consumption or avoid it altogether. Because just think about how bad you feel when you have that hangover the next day, and if you're continually using alcohol, then it just kind of builds up and builds up and builds up, and it will just lower your mood more and more over time. So for my final tip, I'd recommend, if you're unable to break the cycle of depression, or if it carries on for any significant period of time, then it'd be really important to speak to someone who's professionally qualified to help you deal with that. This could be a therapist or your GP, but it's really important that someone's able to kind of give you more strategies and help you to understand on a deeper level why you might be experiencing depression. It's really important to note that depression isn't something that people have to live with forever, and it doesn't take years and years and years of therapy to address the issues. So thanks for watching my video, and I hope you found it helpful. As always, if anything's come up in this video that you want to talk to me further about, I can be contacted at Trenpa Therapy.